Hello everyone and welcome back to Past and Future. Today we're going to be looking at the other Battle of Thermopylae, the one that is not as well known but had a much greater impact on history. The Battle of Thermopylae you're probably all thinking of is the one fought in 480 BC between the Greek city-states and the Persian Empire, where the Greeks, who were heavily outnumbered, made a last stand, which is immortalised in films like 300 and the 300 Spartans. And while these are good movies, their historical accuracy is somewhat questionable. There weren't 500 Persians, I'll just say that now. There were actually 6 battles of Thermopylae, not just the one we all know and love. History of Hilbert does a great episode on the second battle, which was fought between the Gauls and the Greek states. But today we're going to be focusing on the third battle of Thermopylae, fought between the Romans and the Seleucid Empire. There's the second battle between the Gauls and the Greeks. There was another battle between the Greeks and the Ottomans, and even one in the Second World War, when Germany invaded Greece. Our story is set in Roman times, so let's go back then. This is the scene in the Mediterranean around 200 BC. There were 2 major powers in Greece at the time, the Archaean League and the Anatolian League. The Archaean League was made up of Achaea, Corinthia, Argolis and Arcadia, and the Anatolian League, Athens and Anatolia. Anatolian League was allied to Rome, so in 200 BC, Philip II of Macedon invaded the Anatolian League, taking their territories in the south, and also some of their minor provinces, like islands. The kingdom of Pergamon and Rhodes, who were allied to Rome, declared war on Macedon the same year, and they sent their fleets, which were extremely powerful, to meet the Macedonian fleet, which resulted in the Battle of Chios, which was inconclusive. 3 fleets met again at the Battle of Lade, which was a Macedonian victory. The Rhodian fleet was all but annihilated, and so they chased the remaining Pergamon fleet back to Pergamon, which they then put under siege. But this was a Pergamon victory, and so the Macedonian fleet fled, chased by another Rhodian fleet, while the Macedonian army was stranded in Pergamon, but managed to make its way back to Macedon. Now you may be thinking, well, where are the Romans? After all, Anatolia was allied to Rome, and they had just had their elections for 200 BC, so they hadn't mobilised an army. But now with consuls Publius Galba and C. Aurelius, they invaded with an army. At first it went okay, but then they overstretched themselves and had to retreat. They then came back with a much better army and more supplies, and invaded Macedon again. This time the Macedon army mobilised and met them at Cynocephali, which was a major Roman victory, and ended the Second Macedonian War then and there. So now this is Greece and the Adriatic in 192 BC. The red nations are allied to the Seleucid Empire, and all the blue nations are allied to Rome. Antigonus III rules the great Seleucid Empire, which is at its peak. But there is unrest in Greece, and soon the Roman and Seleucid allied states are fighting with each other, which prompts the Seleucids to send an army and invade. The Romans then respond, sending an army in Greece, joining a Macedonian army along the way, and they all met at the Battle of Thermopylae. Now let's just talk Roman and Seleucid tactics. The Romans used the Manipular Legion, which was made up of Veletae skirmishers on the front line, Hastati troops on the second line, Principes on the third line, and the veteran Triarii in the fourth line. This system was made so that one line could engage the enemy after the next, and none of the lines would get too tired out, while the enemy would be put under constant pressure. You'll notice that they were in square-shaped blocks so they could move through each other easily. However, the Seleucids used the solid phalanx formation of Macedonian and Greek origin. Both forces met each other on the battlefield. The Romans outnumbered the Seleucids with their Macedon allies, but the Seleucids held the small gap at Thermopylae, so it didn't really matter. The Romans first attacked the Seleucid front line, but were held back by earthworks and Seleucid archers on the heights above. They rained down projectiles on the second wave as well, and so they had to retreat. But then some troops on the Roman side got around the flank of the Seleucids, and then they drove the skirmishers off the hill, which allowed the Romans to then overwhelm the Seleucid front line. The battle was over in mere hours. Their allies rapidly deserting them, the Seleucids had no other choice but to flee back over the Adriatic to the Seleucid Empire. The Romans, after a short pause, soon gave chase. And a new tale in this epic saga starts. But why, after conquering their main goal, which was Greece, did the Romans still want to pursue a war with the Seleucid Empire and actually invade the Seleucid Empire itself? Well, the Roman political system was an ever-changing one, and the consuls for the year 191, who were Nasica and Galbrio, were under constant pressure from the people of Rome to stay in the people's favour, and that meant invading new territory. The first battle occurred between the Rhodian and Seleucid fleets at Apamida, which was the Rhodian Victory. Did you know that the commander of the Seleucid fleet was Hannibal, yes, the Hannibal Barca who had invaded Rome during the Second Punic War? The Roman fleet, then escorting their army, met the Seleucid fleet at Myonnesus, which was a major Roman victory, which secured them a safe route into the Seleucid Empire. They landed their army, and it met up with the Pergamum army, and the three forces met at Magnesia, which was a major Roman and Allied victory. The Romans were outnumbered by Antigonus' forces, but managed to win a crucial battle, imposing upon Antigonus III the Treaty of Apamida. This included a fine of 15,000 talents or silver coins, hostages including the king's son, and territorial gains for Rhodes and Pergamon. And that is the story of the other Battle of Thermopylae. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, check me out on Patreon, and check out my other channel, Past and Future of Warhammer. And until next time, see ya!